Lakers as well. In the shadows of greatness, the Lakers win it 106-102. Folks, thanks for watching this Battle of Los Angeles. For Corey Alexander, George Sedano, and many talented people behind the camera you never get a chance to see. I'm Mark Jones. Coming up next, Sports Center with Scott Van Pelt.
Hi there, welcome. This is Sports Center from Washington, D.C. I'm Scott Van Pelt. A busy Friday around the NBA. Lakers by 4 knock off the Clippers. They'll play again on Sunday. Kendrick Perkins is going to be here to break down that game and the showdown between the top 2 teams in the East, which was insane. Some big news in the National Football League as well. Matthew Stafford, after being courted by others, is going to stay right where he is in L.A. What that can mean for the rest of the teams in need of a quarterback. But first, we will get right back to Los Angeles, where LeBron James joins us. LeBron is Scott Van Pelt, and I think this is history, man. I believe this is the first time you've been on with me where you didn't have a cigar in one hand and the Larry O'Brien in another. So given that it's just a Friday night in February, I appreciate you taking a minute, man. You all right? You got run into there. You're good?
Man, yeah, long time, man. Long time, Scott. So it's always good to hear your voice, man. I appreciate you having me on, man. Always a pleasure talking to you.
I appreciate that as well. Everything's cool. You got run into there late. You're all right, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
It was a tough back-to-back for us tonight, so we was able to get it done versus a tough Clippers team. Last night we had a tough Minnesota team, but it's good basketball we're playing right now, so we want to hopefully continue it.
All right, so we've all gotten past I'll be damned, Luka plays for the Lakers, and you guys have got some runway now to figure out what you've got. And you've been through this a ton through the years in many different variations with different squads. What's the process, Bron, of now till the playoffs to sort out what you are so that you can be a championship team come June?
Yeah, I mean, at this point in the season, Scott, there's not many days where you have practice. So, it's a dress rehearsal every time we hit the floor, every time we're in film session, shoot-arounds, we hit the road, whatever the case may be. We have to understand that we don't have much time, but when we're on the floor, we have to figure it out on the fly. And I think that's what we've been doing lately. We've been figuring out on the fly, trying to get better and better as Luka continued to get his rhythm back after he came, it's only like, 6, 7 games. I think tonight it was his 10th game with us, possibly. Him coming back from that calf injury that kept him out since Christmas. So, we got to continue to work our habits, and if we do that, we'll be fine.
It dawned on me when I was told perhaps we would talk tonight that 100 years ago it felt like you and I did this commercial, right? And at that time, Bron, I'm about 40, all right? Now, when I got to be 40, that was around the time I thought, I don't know if I can still dunk and not hurt myself, and I couldn't do certain things that I could do as a younger man. That clearly has not happened to you. I'm really sincerely interested in what the process is, Bron, at this stage. Rest and recovery, nutrition, sleep. I'm serious. What has to happen for you to be what you are still?
No, everything. I mean, you just said it, Scott. Everything in the above, man. Nutrition, sleep, making sure I take care of my body, cold tubs, hot tubs, whatever's out there to continue to try to rejuvenate my body and get my body prepared to go out and play every night. I love the game, and I'm in a position where I can continue to play at a high level even at my later stage. So, and I think the chair that you allowed me to steal from you in that first commercial, I think that's helped a lot, too.
I bet it did. Hey, look, I tried to get it.
All right, welcome to Hoops Tonight here at The Volume. Happy Saturday, everybody. Hope all of you guys are having a great weekend. I'm actually staying up to record this on Friday night. We got a jam-packed show for you guys today. I'm going to be breaking down the Clippers-Lakers showdown from last night as the Lakers, after getting dominated by the Clippers for a long time, have actually won 5 out of 7 in that matchup. Another super interesting example of the Lakers dealing with the switching defense. We're going to talk about that. After that, we're going to get into a showdown between the 2 teams that I believe will eventually face off in the Eastern Conference Finals. The Cleveland Cavaliers survive 2 massive runs from the Boston Celtics to tie the season series at 2, getting a big win on the road in Boston. Then at the tail end of the show, I want to talk a little bit of Denver Nuggets. They've had a uneven stretch of games here recently. They're 2-1, I believe, on the road trip so far. I want to talk about 2 concepts with them. One, the concept of inverted spacing, as I watched Jokic pick apart the Pistons off-ball defenders through just acting as a passing fulcrum at the top of the key. And then I want to talk about the stuff that Denver has to get better at on defense if they want to make a legitimate run to get back into championship contention. You guys know the drill. Before we get started, subscribe to the Hoops Tonight YouTube channel so you don't miss any more of our videos. Follow me on Twitter at _JasonLT so you guys don't miss show announcements. Don't forget about our podcast feed, wherever you get your podcasts under Hoops Tonight. It's also super helpful if you leave a rating and a review on that front. And last but not least, keep dropping mailbag questions in the YouTube comments. We'll get to them on Fridays throughout the remainder of the season. All right, let's talk some basketball. So when I looked at the initial matchups to start this Clippers-Lakers game, I saw that Ty Lue put Zubac on Dorian Finney-Smith. And so my first impression there was, oh, we might have a repeat of the Knicks game when they put Karl Anthony Towns on Dorian Finney-Smith and the Lakers just spammed a bunch of pick and pop action to get Dorian Finney-Smith in space. But there was a very smart defensive strategy that Ty Lue implemented in this game. After watching a bunch of film of the Lakers struggling against switching, he just decided to have Zubac switch all of those screens. That's why you saw so many of those ISOs out around the top of the key with either LeBron or Luka attacking Zubac in space. And I thought generally did a good job. He pretty much contained dribble penetration for the most part and forced those guys into a lot of jump shots over the top. LeBron was really carrying the load in the early part of the game by just settling into that mid-range jump shot right around like 17, 18 feet out kind of by the top of the key area. But again, like the Lakers did struggle again for the most part. And, you know, I don't think they're going to really generate a ton of offense against switching defenses until Luka gets back to the Luka Doncic that we know he's capable of being, an MVP level shot maker, right? We saw even just a tiny little touch of it at the end of the game when Luka made a couple of big step back threes that led to an adjustment from Ty. We'll get to that in a second. But until Luka really gets back to his MVP level form on the offensive end, and until the Lakers start knocking down their catch and shoot attempts, this is their third straight game where they got less than 1 point per catch and shoot attempt. They've been struggling to shoot the basketball a lot. I do think they'll shoot better in the long run, but until those two things turn around, until Luka gets going, and until they start knocking down their catch and shoot shots, they're going to struggle against defenses that switch, and they struggled for long stretches in this game. But we did see a little Luka run in that fourth quarter. That was a taste of what things should look like in the long run when Luka gets going. So he hits a couple of step-back threes over Zubac in switches, one on the left wing, one kind of out on the right side of the floor. Now, at that point, Ty Lue had to make an adjustment. He started putting two on the ball. Once Luka put two on the ball, then they were able to get the defense into rotation and generate quality looks out of that. An open look for Dorian Finney-Smith in the right corner that he knocked down. A dunk for Jackson Hayes on a slip to the rim. They started to get good looks because they got two to the ball. Again, like, we're going to talk about this a lot when we get into the Celtics game as well, but there's like an order of operations in order to break down a switching defense. You have to start getting a matchup you like and attacking it well enough that you score at a rate that is